down and see the Donkey Kong show. I got 412 barrels ready to roll. On your market set, ready now go. There's 17 fire meters cruise around, so you better not be too slow. Try and come up and see a giant gorilla who's on swells. Way up atop the pie factory with Penelope, your hoe. Floating hammers in the air and danger everywhere. Try to reach the top and take me down if you dare. You know the rules. Enter the building one at a time. Good luck to you. Hey, it's the second Donkey Kong show. Back here swearing this for in honor of Kawhi. I was taken up for the Dubs, but I'm happy for San Diego State and Kawhi. There was a guy, I forget his name, he played for the Lincoln Hornets on a really nasty Lincoln team I watched destroy a very good Hoover team. Actually, I went and watched Hoover in the first round, get rid of Mount Carmel. We were only losing by 3 at halftime. They played their asses off, and we only won 5 games that year. We were like the 14 seed. I believe Hoover was a 3 seed in Division Two. But oh yeah, that Lincoln team was horrifying. They came in throwing up gang signs at the Hoover, and they just mopped the floor with that Hoover team and won a state title. I think one guy on that team is on the Raptors now. But anyways, yeah, hopefully today's show won't get cut off early. Yeah, mom knocked it. I had to go do my insulin and eat lunch. So I don't know, just crouching and I only got through about 3 of the things. I was just starting to give a shout out to the Disney Duchesses, Olivia Rodrigo and Madison Who on Bizarre Bar. But yeah, that's all I got through. But who knows how long I'll cackle today. But I just watched England get rid of England got rid of Argentina 1-0. So they're winning the group, or at least in the second round. They still got to play Japan. But I'm all about England. You'll learn more about that. It's my I'm technically English. I talk quite a bit about my ancestors. My great grandpa was a grandson of Lord Anthony Thompson, who was the right hand man of an evil man, Oliver Cromwell, who killed over 2 million Irish. And I would have been a cousin of King George III, but his side had to leave in 1609. Ended up in North Carolina and got along great with the Indians. See, they found out we are druids and witches. And actually, the Romans, Mr. Crowley, my first professor of a British lit, told me I had a knight in my family. But further back than that, he said he would have sent full allegiance if he was the emperor to kill me. When they splashed Anglesey Island, we had about a 2-hour lead, and then the battle. It took them 2 hours for the Romans to get out of their boats and destroy Anglesey Island, but and the battle took 2 hours, so we had a 4-hour lead. And then my great grandpa was a Welsh caveman at the time. His family was that he converted to Judaism at some point during England, but he was indigenous Welsh. He looked just like the former bantamweight and a featherweight champion Stevie Johnston from Wales, real leathery, swarthy skin, but he was a Welsh miner, and they were the second richest family in Missouri. He was a friend of a Walt Disney's, and when he was in fourth and 5th grade in Kansas City. My grandma used to get $10 bills during the Depression. They weren't the second richest by the time my grandma was born, but still rolling. But then our family ran into like dark shadow levels, like made the dark shadows. Collins family looked like the luck of Richie Rich, or maybe Scrooge McDuck or something. And we ran into. By the time I was born, we were white rubbish still. By 1970, when I was born, but anyways, those Welsh, actually that's where the stones were quarried 95 miles away in Wales for Stonehenge. But those cavemen there owed us Druids a lot of favors, so they didn't probably care much for the Romans. Anyways, they were rolling big boulders down. Mr. Crowley, no relation to Aleister Crowley, is Anthony Crowley, who was a cool teacher, more of a comedian than an English teacher. But that year in 2000, he published some book about the Roman invasion. He's big in history, but he was my British lit teacher my first semester at State in spring of 2000. And yeah, he said I had a knight in my family and talked about those cavemen. And then they sacked us. That was when they killed 120,000 Romans. There were only like 1,200 Romans guarding Londinium, but they killed over 120,000 Roman citizens, and they were getting their asses kicked anyways. I mean, they could have took that boggy marsh in the hills where the cavemen were rolling boulders down on them, but then they were needed out west in Londinium. And when our Queen Boudica sacked Londinium, and then my family stayed in the woods until the year 1000 and whatever, the year the Yehudis, I mean, the year the Jews were evicted, they came out of the woods somehow that year with wagons full of gold. They were like, hey, we'll buy this one and that one. I've cackled quite a bit in that career limiting Facebook post group about that, but that just kind of makes it easier to hear that side of it. But I don't know. I'm gonna go ramble on about a few things. I had like 5 more things on my outline for the first show, but I got through 3 of them out of 7. I'm going to let's see what's next. I talked about the video games. I ended up beating the Florida Gators yesterday, 103-9. Had to have 3 goal line stands. He got inside the 5-yard line or 10-yard line 3 times in the second half. I threw 1 interception. Got stopped on over 3 on 4th down. But defense overall, we got shredded for like 460 pass yards, but we held the Gators to 3 field goals in the first half, shut them out the second half. I'm happy. It's a rebuilding year. We have 0 returning linemen coming back. It's 2062 in that parallel universe. But let's see. I got to the. Oh yeah, I told you I reminded my brother to try to look for those Atari joysticks. I want to get my Atari rocking. Oh, I forgot to show you what my brother got me. Look at this. This is my favorite comic book character. I'll show you my comic book collection, but that's Styles Sinestro, Yellow Lantern Corps, baby. I'm a Yellow Lantern. He's my favorite comic book character. He's misunderstood. He's not a villain. He's just a disciplinarian. He's just sort of an outlaw. But he's in the Legion of Doom now. But he has his reasons for joining. I knew he didn't die when he brought Parallax down when he was within his wife's daughter resurrected him. And anyways, more on that later. But that was pretty cute. Nice little present. He got me other things too. He got me a grip of like 2 other presents. I forget what. I can't think of it right now. But let's see. What was I going to talk about next? What's number 4 on the? Oh, while I'm here, I'll talk about my friend Mika Mouse. I want to give a shout out to her. I cleaned out my closet last night. Yeah, that reminds me. And it was a real mess. My whole closet collapsed. I had too many shirts hanging. My mom got me this new thing for all my shit, all my shirts and stuff, and it totally collapsed. But it only took me a half hour. I found in Mount Carmel. I'll show you her cousin Yama. Here's the Sun Devils. And I'm going to show you a picture. He's the one who first told me about this movie deal. And I knew about the one in 2010, but the recent one when Sony bid $1.5 billion, but it was only $800 million the night. My last night was on this team, the 2013 team, class of 2014. I'll show you Yama. He's number 14 right here, right there. Yama Fahimi, or Fahim. His parents are actually Bahraini too, but Mika Mouse is a princess in Bahrain, but she's on like 37th or 38th. I know it sounds crazy, like the Princess Diaries or whatever, but no, she will probably, unless Bahrain gets nuked or something, I guess it's plausible she could become the queen of Bahrain, but it's not likely. But hey, who knows the way things are going in the Middle East right now? You can imagine. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to get into that. I think that thing is a false flag today. Oh, yeah, they're going to attack the Japanese front. Freighter Iran's going to do that while the Japanese prime minister is meeting with them, or when the aircraft carrier group is right out there off their shoreline. They're really going to pull that, but I'm going to try not to keep things too political. But yeah, Mika Mouse moved to we hooked up at the wild animal park the first time I met her. I couldn't stop staring at her ass. She looked really nectar. She just moved here from Bahrain. Was used to living in a a palatial estate with like many servants. And the snazzy part of Rancho Bernardo seemed like ghetto to her. That's how like styling she was used to living. And I couldn't stop looking at her ass. And then she goes, "Well, it's just American." She had a British accent. She grew up in London. She was born in Tehran, was raised in London, but she couldn't move back after the Shah was overthrown in the Islamic Revolution or what have you. They moved to Bahrain after that. She hadn't been back to Tehran since she was quite little. But she had a cute British accent, and she had a bunch of her relatives. And my brother's dad, the Ogre Magi I told you about, the Lower Poway Ogre Magi, was trained by Archie Moore, threw down with about 8 of her relatives and her dad. He was holding his own. He screwed a few of them up, and then one of them hit me. Come out, goes, "Oh, you got hit by a 58-year-old Jordanian man, grown man, and he didn't even blink. He's a barbarian, but he must be very brave and strong," or something like that. And then her mom was like, "Look," because me and Mickey Mouse were trying to break it up. We were both embarrassed, and then her mom was like, "Look, the children are the only ones who have any sense." We got to sit next to each other on the tram, the train that goes around the wild animal park, and we got to sit next to each other. And then we found out we were both. She was going to Mount Carmel. She lived in RV. I thought she was just messing with me. She told me her birthday was a half hour after mine, and Mickey Mouse's mom, and she's actually a Aries. I forget what her real birthday is. Yama told me that. I didn't know until that night when I got my last Sunday game when I fucked up that coach real bad. But Yama told me that there was a movie bit between 3 movie studios. This was in October. It was going to end on Christmas Eve that year of 13, and so that was a trip. I knew they'd been working on it, but I thought she was going to do the book thing first. You know, no, she goes where the money is first. And it sounded like it was in the bag, but he said she was. He didn't tell me what company. It turned out she told me on December 27th of that year that it was Sony Pictures. But then they ended up going with Pixels, and I'll get more into that. I had a suicide attempt in April. That was in March of 2014. That was one reason. There was other things going on. I was probably kind of sickly. I'll get into that. Mom was back on bingo. She got back into bingo after taking oh no, that was before she took a 3-year break, right before. But she was getting a little abusive, and I was just more depressed about that movie deal falling apart. They go with Pixels. I didn't, I couldn't believe that, but the bid went up from 800 million to 1.5 billion, and my share was 1.3%. I told you that other one I told you about was in May of 2017. That's the last one I heard. It was 2 billion, but there's allegedly one that after that fell apart. There was one in August of 2016. It was bigger than the Sony one, not as big as that 2 billion one. And she sacrificed. I told you I should sacrifice my merchandise rights so that I could get a 2.5% or would it be 50 million? I'm gonna give her Ishtar's rate since she's the one with the connects going back and forth. But so yeah, I get a 2.5%. I'm gonna give her 10 million plus a 1 million bonus for all that work, an extra 1 million, and I owe that coach. She said she's close to getting him to agree to 10 million, 5 million. He had to get both of his feet amputated. I mean, I pulled all the punches. I never hit him. I just carved up his ankles with my hooves. Got rid of his hooves. He needed to get both of them amputated. So that was kind of fucked up to hear that. But when here's what the only thing she gave. She did make a vow when I puked on her in a 10th grade. I threw up on her. It was like the 6th time I ever drank. I had a beer when I was 5 years old. In 8th grade, we were out at a camping trip at the La Jolla Indian Reservation in North County, out near north of Valley East, northwest or northeast of Valley Center, or whatever it is. La Jolla Indian Reservation used to have a sick water park. I drank a bunch of wine coolers and beer out there. 2 times me and my buddy George got into his parents' vodka. And I was just talking to him about the St. Louis Blues. He dabbed me up. He lives in Long Island now. He used to live in Brooklyn. He got a really hot Indian wife. And I'm happy for him. His sister was valedictorian for the class of '86. Janet's really cool. She has this company called Enlightened Designs. And she makes like those costumes with all the little lights. And Kanye West was one of her clients. And she had the Rockettes. Like, she's made a fortune. She was real good at like math and all that. But I always thought she was very creative and good artist. I always thought she might like make a fortune off something besides like all the math nerd stuff. She went to Claremont Mud for all the physics and math or whatever, but she ended up doing that. So that's pretty cool. Me and George ran on the field when the Cubs beat the Padres beat the Cubs in 1984. Our seats were way in the upper deck that we escaped onto the field. We were just talking about that today. That was pretty awesome. We went to both games of the World Series. It sucked that the Tigers rolled us, but it was a lot of fun. That was his. He said that was his favorite sports memory, only one in a pennant, and it's definitely one of the happiest days of my life. I don't know about favorite sports memories, but it was up there for sure. Even though they expanded the stadium, that's still as loud as I've ever heard it. That time we beat the Cubs, it was just bedlam. But anyways, yeah, I puked on Mickey Mouse. We went to a Mount Carmel game at it was at San Diego because Torrey Pines was kind of a new school. Then they didn't have their stadium built yet, and we upset them 6-0. But we were drunk as lords. That was another time. That was after. Yeah. This was like the sixth time I ever got drunk. I mean, 2 times this summer before 10th grade, we got into the vodka. Me and George got busted. He got grounded. It was the day before. It was the only time I made All Stars when I was 14. And I showed up with a hangover, and I wasn't even supposed to be on the team. Robbie Balfrey and Scott Napier got more votes than me, but I was like threatening suicide. And my mom went down to the All Star thing when it was announced. And they said that I was suicidal about not making the team, and they made an exception for me, even though I thought I had a better year than them. They hit a couple home runs each. Maybe we had more friends. I was kind of really a total loner in middle school, and even up into ninth grade, I didn't have too much friends. But didn't start partying until 10th grade. And that was like the first time I partied that year was at that football game. I had snuck a bunch of whiskey out and put it in a Tupperware. Like a dumbass, the Tupperware, my locker reeked, but I just told him it was for something for the biology, and the yard dogs believed, oh, Ricky's a good kid. I just said, oh, maybe somebody leaked something from biology. I didn't even confess that it was mine. And they just took my word for it. And I rode the bus over to Scott Napier's neighborhood. She lived in the rich part of Rancho Bernardo over by the swimming tennis club called the Knolls. And I jumped out the window of the bus because I opened up to show off. And I opened up my book bag and it rang of alcohol. And Mickey Mouse Snurr, I was sitting next to her, and she started snitching on me like crazy. And I jumped out the window of the bus, and then nothing happened to me. But then this big husky freshman softball player, Irish chick, ran up and cheap shot at Mickey Mouse. She was just 6. She was like pretending to be a detective, and she did end up being beyond it. She's beyond a detective. She had one of the highest Quantico scores ever with the FBI when she was 18 years old. She's got high clearance since like we were Cubs, man. Since we were still high school, barely high school, past high school Cubs, and anyways, it was an impressive loss. Even though that girl whipped Mickey Mouse's ass from on Cheap Chopper, she kept fighting back. I couldn't even catch her when she ran away. So you can catch me if you tried. But then we were supposed to ride the Rowdy Rooter bus, and we were all drunk. We met this kid Darius, who I ended up being friends with, this Persian kid who was gonna end up moving to Mount Carmel next year, but he got snuck in. He couldn't get away with this shit now. But he snuck a big bottle of tequila in. We had all this swamp water. And Scott Napier had a bunch of hards at his house. He had a big liquor cabinet. We got into that. George brought something, I forget. But we got kicked. Mickey Mouse snitched on us again, and we got kicked off the Rowdy Rooter, the booster bus. And we had one ace in the hole we were going to call safe ride, but we were down to like our last quarter. We were all skinned. And George said, Stamp a squall instead of San Diego. And then you fucker, we're stuck here now. I have to call my mom again. And she was nice enough to drive us way out to Encinitas. That's where San Diego is, out by the beach. I almost got beat by a shark there in '99. That's the last time. That's my worst fear is sharks. I'll share that with you. And I bodyboarded the next wave, and I haven't been in the ocean since summer of '99. But anyways, that was it. The kid just got beat their 13-year-old almost died last year. And about 7 years ago, some dude got beat by a shark. Got beat by a shark, gobbled up there. Some doctor, like 6 or 7 years ago. Anyways, we got breeding grounds off the coast of La Jolla. But I'm digressing. But then when we got back, his mom dropped George off, and I let me spend the night at Scott's. And we met Mickey Mouse out. He arranged to meet them out on the golf course. And Mickey Mouse had never had a beer. We snuck a 6-pack out of a warm 6-pack, and she started when I was humping. This is the third time I ever had sex with her. And I was humping her, and she started puking. I thought because she thought I was gross. But actually, it was just because of the Budweiser aftertaste. Earlier that day, Scott put it in my head about frat boys at this school, San Diego State, like puking on chicks or like passed out at frat parties. So I got that. I puked all over her, and I don't know how they were gonna pull that off. Maybe if they got to the washing machine or something, or Meek probably had to change the clothes, they could have figured somehow. But she beat the shit out of her. I mean, she wasn't even like buzzed yet. All she had is a beer, and I'm as drunk as I'd ever been. And I went down to the sand shop, and she tackled me hard. She'd been watching too much football. It hurt more than. That's the last thing I remember before she lowered me to the third level there. Knees on the, ground and pound. I don't remember shit after that, dude. But she smashed me up pretty good. And when she took the high road and I took the low road, I come out of the sand trap and she mangled me with that and knocked the fucking wind out of me. Her dad was gonna behead me with a cursed, I'm not cursed, a blessed sword. So he remembered he's not in Bahrain anymore. And then he lost a lot of sleep. But so she took a vow to never give me a nickel. But hey, I get it. I know that was quite a wake up call for her dad. It was countless hours of sleep worrying about her being she's going to end up being a hoot. She saw a porn movie the second time she went to my house. The time I beat the fuck out of Sean Conway in one of them epic upsets, a big heavy metaler. The first time I took her to my house, she beat the fuck out of a Puerto Rican girl, a Jewish girl that I was messing around with, and her brother was all mad. I ended up having to fight her brother, this big 10th grader. He got a big Jew out, brother. It was about a draw. I call that one a draw, but that was an impressive draw. I mean, he just beat the shit out of Paul Scolari, who's at the pool where I shagged his sister once, and another time in his bedroom. But that's because she was jealous. And then the blonde girl, Sean Conway, was one of the other victims. She's already a black belt when she came to America. I thought she was still walking next to me like 35 seconds later, and I turn around, all three were on the ground crying. And then they still followed us home. And that was the first time I humped her. We got to third base out at that night at the Wild Animal Park. And she says every time she drinks an elixir, those crazy alchemist elixir, she always make sure to stop and watch us at the frolicking out at the Wild Animal Park. We were cubs. I drank one with her once. It was like it made four-way acid. It looked like dirt weed. This stuff. I mean, it speeds your mind up faster than space and time. And it looks like little stars. Each one is the equivalent of like a person. It's like a universe, and it's insane. I'd be reluctant. I've done peyote and stuff. I did all kind. I ate acid like it was Starburst back when I was a kid, and shrooms, whatever. But I'd be hesitant to do that again. But I'm not probably would if it was with her, dude. But yeah, she's a special friend though. This is the only thing she ever gave me, really. Besides, like being my lawyer, she kept talking to pigs. I'd say that was the first time she talked to a pig. I almost killed Sean Conway at Hessian, who was probably 160 pounds, 150, 160 pounds. I was 105, cutting weight to play for Pop Warner for Miss. I was too little for the freshman team, I think. Or I wouldn't have done much on there. And I played Pop Warner for Pop Warner for my baseball coach. And the year before, to avoid being on my baseball coach's team, I cut weight so I wouldn't get smashed up by that junior midget team. So I think it's stunning my growth to cut weight in 8th and 9th grade summer. But look at this 97. I'll get more of this year, a special year. Keep this in mind, though. 1997. That was the year I brought the ancient mighty one down. I've showed you that. And she would save me from going to Calipatria prison. I'll get more into this at another time. But yeah, she left this on the doorstep of my 12 grandma's apartment. About the second or third day I moved into this apartment. I told you I had that Jeremy roommate with all the kids and Calvin, that Taiwanese guy. And I didn't get to explain what happened, but his buddy won $1 million at the progressive slots. The one I said was cool about my age, but they ended up getting all greedy, and he was holding on to my financial aid check too. That's why Donkey Kong comes into play. It was the alter ego I made up for myself. After I finally got that check and cashed it, $5,000 something, and because I was so poor that I got like the maximum amount because I was on SSI my whole life. I never worked and this and that, and so I got the maximum on that, and So I call it donkey because I tiptoed around that shit the first 2 months I was there. But then that chick, I remember like, oh, some of these kids like they spend 5,000 on one room, of their car, or they get some swatch, some fancy watch or something for Christmas, worth 5,000. It might be like a piece of junk to them. It's something clicked in my head where I just developed this stupid strategy to like know prisoners, all about school and getting this stuff done. Oh, they're all dumb shits, right? No, don't make friends. Don't worry about it. These people ain't shit. It's a stupid outlook. It really made the school much harder. That's the reason why it was socially one of the hardest things I ever did. And I brought a lot of those problems onto myself, to be honest. That wasn't gonna. I got disrespected to my face every time I went to that school. But there's always gonna be someone who saw me being a mean psycho, a dick. That's not me. Anyone who knows me, I've been called all kinds of just about everything, but nobody really ever accused me of being a mean person until I went to San Diego State. It started there in 2000, and after the first couple months. But anyways, when I moved into that 12 grandma's apartment, she put this at my doorstep, and he's my snuggle buddy. But I see it's already been 25 minutes. I'm gonna start to move on. But yeah, I feel Mickey Mouse is a great, amazing friend. You know, she is not. She's very protective of me. She's helped me out a lot. She steps in when she even though she's in a. I mean, she's got like as of like probably about 8 years ago, she had 25 cars. She probably got cars out there. She can't even remember, like 20 something apartments she's renting. She owns property too. Owns like, yeah, I mean, she's very rich. I have princess in Bahrain. That's not a joke. And but she makes up for it. She's priceless, like in other areas, and always been like that's why I call her my soul sister. And I just wanted to talk about her a little bit. I rambled quite a bit, but let's move on. Let's see. Oh, yeah, that's why I always cry at the part when at the California Adventure Park when they used to have that play. I saw it like 4 times, and I'd always start crying as soon as the Princess Jasmine, a whole new world, and then when they're on the car, but it just, it hits too close to home. That's why I call myself a diamond in the rough. I've never had a friend like her. That Aladdin movie, go check it out if you haven't. He chops the Robin Williams, Genie to crumbs. Will Smith just steals the show. I'd rather sing Middle Eastern kids than Indians, but it just works. It doesn't matter. Just like Gal Gadot is Israeli Jew. She does a fine job as Wonder Woman. It doesn't really matter. It still works. I mean, it's because they look somewhat like Arabs, and they're both good. I thought the Aladdin was a slightly better than the Princess Jasmine, but it just worked. It was an excellent movie. I give it 4 stars. But anyways, let's see. I'm going to I got my comic book collection here and my movies. I'll start with the movies since they're right here. Let's see. Oh, there's some comic books in here. Oh, this is the comic book. Never mind, I'll go with the comic books. The movies are behind me. Yeah, I've got right now I'm just following Wonder Woman and Lee, but and the Justice League with the Legion of Doom. That was one of my favorite cartoons back in the day. But see, this is some of it. I'll show you. I got the original Thor. That's a woman. She's a chick. I think that'll be worth something someday. This ain't the first one. This is the 5th one, but that was pretty good. Thor is another one of my favorites. I like those movies. Aquaman, I followed 2 different Aquamans. Those are my favorites. But I got into all kinds of stuff. Let me see. See, there's Aquaman. It's a reverse. What else we got? Yeah, there's a ton of ones. I follow like 3 different kinds of Wonder Woman because Ishtar. Since Wonder Woman is a Greek goddess, the main character of my books is Ishtar, my goddess. I showed you a picture of her yesterday. Babylonian goddess of love and war. So that's kind of an inspiration. See, this is quite a collection that I have. This one was a dud. The first one was good. I'm kind of stoked on Romania. I think it's from the webcam bitches. I never would have thought that chicks in like Bulgaria, Hungary, and Romania would be such hotties, but they got nectar girls out there, man. I wouldn't have thought they'd be scabby, but there. Some of the foxiest girls in Europe, though. I'm kind of stoked on them. God, everything is just Justice League and the big way down there. It's just something different. Oh, Sports Illustrated. Uh, Here it is. Found out one of my Sinestros. Anyways, enough of that. I just keep drawing all the cool, like mostly Justice League, and but I got into quite a bit. I didn't get into I had a great collection on my second dad's, but when he tried to get them back, I called him out on something awful he did to me when I was 5 years old. I think it might have been part of the reason he wanted to move back to Western Pennsylvania, and I just shared. He had a sister that looked more like my mom and my mom. I just shared a room with his hunchback brother. I rode my ATC like 3 miles, and I had to hide it in the bushes to go to catch the bus. And the school was actually pretty cool. I had a girlfriend there pretty quick, and I was in some room and made it all kick back. It was like a special ed. They had a total fence around me. The first day, this big tough kid goes, "Hey, any of you want to mess with this?" He was the king of the school, probably their Western Pennsylvania, all the rack moves, boys. See, I found this movie. Remember this one? With Tom Cruise. Yeah, it was out there in that Western Pennsylvania's lot, and it was quite a trippy school. It was really easy though. They made it super easy. And that kid's like, "Hey, anyone mess with this sissy?" Where are you from? I told him California. I barely talked with him. All right, anyone mess with this sissy, you gotta deal with me. And it was Cruise. Nobody fucked with me. I had this other chick I rode horses with a couple times. And hold on. Oh, I think my mom's at the door. Just a second. Mom? Anything call? Nah, it must have just been her TV or something. She cranks her TV super loud. My mom's losing her hearing, seems like. But anyways, yeah, I rode riding horses up there. She was cool, but I was there for the Johnstown flood, and there was just one other farmhouse, and then no neighbors for miles. It was just out in a remote bog, a farmhouse. They had pickled peckerwood in the closet. The sister who looked more like my mom, and my mom warned me never go down in the basement. One time I snuck down and I looked, and she was right behind me. She was so fucking scary. But I said, "See what you know," and there was like all these body parts of Confederate soldiers. They had in like preserved in jars and all kinds of scary shit down there. There were Quakers, and I was glad when we left there on my seventh birthday, and my mom finally took my word for it, and you know, and yeah, one of my found some comic books of the Mighty One out in this outhouse, and I think that's when it was David dreaming still, but I was like said his name 3 times, and I could have swore I felt something go up and get inside me, dude. And his sister's like, that creepy sister was right there when I came out. She was with us out, and we were out in some fog. I forget what we were doing. They were all about the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's where they're my least favorite team in sports besides the Yankees, just because I don't know, the Yankees is just too much. It's just too annoying. It's just, too many mob wops or whatever. I didn't mean that kiddingly, but like all the mafios, motherfuckers, and them all the movies are all big Yankee fans. It's just such an over the top Frank Sinatra. It's just too, I don't know, probably because my Cardinals are a distant second in World Series, so they're everything I wish the Cardinals could be with their history. So maybe that has something to do with it too. But anyways, I'm digressing, and to show some of my favorite movies. I did the movies, comic books. I didn't even remember that about Aladdin. Yeah, for this time, I'm not going to get too much into the crazy life stuff. I think I covered a little bit of that with Mickey Mouse. I'll show you my movie collection. I was talking about Sanford and Son, how the Disney Duchesses. Like they don't destroy these shows, but they beat them. They destroy like all the kids shit. Oh, I told you about that. I also found this one. Find and fulfill your destiny. I found those in my closet. Let's see. Movies. My favorite movies are Clockwork Orange is first, and Bend It Like Beckham is my second movie. Those are quite different. Let's see. Slumdog Millionaire. That was a good date when I went on a date with this one Korean girl, Mingo. I might talk about her. She's being a total cunt. Or Lost Boys. Oh, who remembers Billy Jack? Dude, I went Billy Jack when I got bit by a rattlesnake and just rode the lightning. But my no that out of that haunted apartment in San Marcos, and I was crossing the field. I'll probably tell that story another time. Apocalypse Now. I like a lot of the old bangers. Just Spartacus. I just bought this recently. I found it. Here's my ultimate movie. I could relate to this boy. He doesn't talk much in the movie. Movie doesn't mention, but in the book, he like ripped at soccer, and then his parents got really cheap, and I moved him out from the suburbs out to that tenement in London. He was not a gangbanger. He was like a decent average student and a very good athlete. But his parents got all cheap and let him cut him, kind of shortchanged him, and that's why he became sort of a gangbanger, if you will. And I saw a video like back in the summer. Yeah, India is my second favorite country. I told you I'm big on the Hinduism. Oh yeah, here's a movie. I haven't opened this one yet. I want to watch Moneyball. Leave this one out. Yeah, how much I love Mount. Oh, and a correction. Marlon Carey was actually a senior that year. Ricky Williams was only a junior. And our line was way bigger and meaner than Patrick Kitty. They just played another. The Eastern League is a little bit easier than the Palomar League at the time. Even though they have Big Point, Mean Point Loma, and more. So they had a great year too. But I think Marlon was just a year old. But still, Ricky Williams did say that's the best running back he ever played. Oh, and I heard that I don't know if Dago was telling the truth about this, but he told me that he rushed for like 625 yards against Folsom State, and Marlon Carey shattered the prison rushing record. I don't know if that was a hyperbole or if I didn't say he rushed for over 600 yards. That's my record in that in my game. There's a 600 and something rushing and 800 something passing in one game is my record for passing. I used to be air raid. I used to be ground and pound. Now I'm more balanced. I'm kind of starting to get stick fingers, and this is pretty uncomfortable with all these props. I won't always do this. This is just for the first time. This backpack, I found the first three. Oh yeah, I told you about that. I found the first three books since I moved in here in there, and I started writing these fantasy books well, no, I already started in 2007, but the first three notebooks of the I only did 400 pages. The first 10 months I lived here, and until March, I don't know, April of 2000. Oh, I'm about to break it. And June was the last time I went under 200 pages. I'm about to have 5 years of 200, 300, 5 years of 200 or more pages a month, and 4 years of 300 or more. Both times in June was the last time I went under 200 or then 300. So, respectively. Hold on a second. Oh, here's one. Dark Crystal, Narnia. I'm a Harry Potter, Cinderella man. I love boxing. I got Raging Bull. I'm a big boxing fan. My mom's not, since I spent $375 on like diabetes cure and insulin and all this, I'm not going to be allowed to order she don't want me ordering the Tyson Fury fight. And the undercards suck. Anyways, Sullivan Barrera, decent lightweight. It's the only one I've ever heard of. Who likes this one? One Flew Over, man. You know how as a schedule, this one hits close to. I should leave this one near the top. There's more Potter. My favorite is the Half-Blood Prince. So I just somehow that one. Sometimes I cried during that scene with Good Luck when they got over on when Ron had the luck shit, the Felicium luck thing, and then they beat Slytherin and they're all partying. That just reminded me of getting Malcolm over Power, and then Power is my second favorite. I know I'll give the Goblins props. I hope they take something out of Granite Hills for us because that's who we play second, and Granite Hills has to go up to the Goblin Cave and they came down to a Hail Mary at the end, but these kids warned me that, hey, Granite Hills took it real easy on our boys last year, and they didn't appreciate it one bit. So no one expect the same treatment down at Granite Hills. Well, I'm going to be over it. I can't go in the sidewalk near school, but I'm going to watch from John F. Kennedy Park down at Granite Hills, that's for sure. Fuck yeah, I'm going to be down there all draped up in Sunday here. I don't give a fuck. Who likes the Wizard of Oz? God. Never ending story. Oh, finally I found a Bend It Like Beckham. I did work in a movie theater. I got to see about 50 movies. I did for 15 months. Never, it fucked up my writing, and I have to say that, but that's why book 5 sucked, and it took me 2 years, and it was one of the shortest ones in a while. Yeah, it is my second favorite movie. It's just really cheap. I like Carmen Niagara, and that's about it for now. Yeah, I'll probably start talking a little more about my crazy life, but I had to give a shout out to Mickey Mouse. Yeah, without her, none of this, I wouldn't be able to give those movie and Penguin publisher types. So they wouldn't give me the time of day. But look, and these are I have a whole drawer full of my notebooks. It's like the 27,000 it is notebook pages, but I got 3 of these Tupperware tubs, and then downstairs in the garage is all my first 5 books are in a thing downstairs with the other 10 books that I did not related to not the fiction story collections, and it's only 2 other novels besides my first one. One called Big Dad Baghdad and one called Rose Rules that mocks the reality show phenomenon of the show Road Rules. You might remember that. It's a Ricky Rose is the main character in that, who comes up big through making a reality, making crazy videos of getting people that do really messed up things. It kind of mocks Jackass too, a little bit more Jackass than Road Rules, really. But anyways, I found this Red Hand hat. Here's my other second favorite team after Mount Corral. Go Hands. First time of the day is Saturday history. First time they've been broached in 20 pieces in a bucket on the clock since 1958. So yeah. I already showed you these good books. Showed you my God and Goddess, and this is the settings to get a lot of the ideas for the settings for these places. And I already have permission from TSR Hobbies. They might want to make it a company. I love to roll some Devil's Dice, but not, second edition well, it doesn't really matter. I mean, if it's the right people, you got a good dungeon master. I guess any kind of format will work. But I guess that's enough for now. I have 43 minutes. That looks pretty good. I'm really enjoying these Donkey Kong shows. And anyways, so you know the rules. Enter the building one at a time. Best of luck to you, and I'll see you soon. Okay, later.